From Shadow to Flame, How the Iran-Israel Rivalry Escalated into Open War. Hours before the first missile was launched from Iranian soil toward Israel, something had already shifted. Not in the skies, but in the realm of politics, in strategic calculations, and in the layers of mistrust that had accumulated over more than 4 decades. This podcast offers an analytical dive into the origins of this confrontation, how it escalated, and what future it may shape for the region. Part 1, A Rivalry Born in Revolution. The tension between Iran and Israel is anything but new. Before Iran's 1979 Islamic Revolution, the two nations enjoyed relatively close ties, military cooperation, intelligence exchange, and mutual trade. But after the revolution, the Islamic Republic institutionalized the notion of Israel's annihilation as part of its ideological foundation. In the decades that followed, Iran systematically backed groups like Hezbollah in Lebanon and Hamas in Gaza. Israel, in turn, framed Iran as its top security threat. This long-standing enmity played out through proxy wars and cyber confrontations. But today, for the first time, it has morphed into a direct military confrontation. Part 2, Sparks Before the Flame. Between 2023 and 2025, a series of developments pushed tensions toward a point of no return. The assassination of key figures in Iran's nuclear program, blamed by Tehran on Mossad. Sophisticated cyber attacks targeting vital Iranian infrastructure, including the national railway system, power grids in Tehran, and missile defense systems. Israeli airstrikes in Syria that killed IRGC commanders. A new round of clashes in Gaza, believed by Israel to be orchestrated by Tehran. Joint military drills conducted by Iran, Russia, and China in the Gulf of Oman, a clear signal to both Israel and the US. Each event blurred the red lines that had long been carefully maintained. Part 3, Why Now? Analyzing the timing. Wars rarely begin at a single moment. They're the culmination of layered decisions. But still, why did this war erupt now? Internal political pressure. In Israel, ongoing political crises, mass protests, and cabinet instability made the idea of an external enemy a tempting tool for distraction. In Iran, a crumbling economy, widespread dissatisfaction, and international isolation made an external confrontation a potentially unifying force. Military calculations. Some analysts argue Israel concluded that Iran was dangerously close to developing a nuclear weapon, prompting a preemptive strike. Iran, meanwhile, believed its years of investment in drone technology, missile programs, and regional alliances had placed it in a position to strike back and endure. Global power vacuum. With the U.S. pivoting toward Asia and entangled in Ukraine, the Middle East became a lower priority for Washington. This void emboldened both Tehran and Tel Aviv. Part 4, Regional and Global Reactions. The United States has tried to balance support for Israel with restraint to avoid direct involvement. Russia and China, while criticizing Israel, have adopted a cautious tone influenced by arms deals and energy concerns. Saudi Arabia and the UAE have remained officially silent but are privately alarmed, fearing regional spillover. Hezbollah has engaged in limited skirmishes but has not yet launched a full-scale offensive. If it does, the war will expand to multiple fronts. Part 5, Scenarios for the Future. Escalation and regional conflagration. In this scenario, Hezbollah from the north, Hamas from the south, and Iran-backed militias in Iraq and Yemen all engage. Israel strikes Iran's nuclear facilities. Iran retaliates. The war becomes regional and potentially uncontrollable. Fragile ceasefire and return to controlled tensions. After several weeks of fighting, mediators like the US, Qatar, Turkey, or Oman broker an unofficial ceasefire. Hostilities pause, but animosity lingers. A new era of shadow conflict resumes. Geopolitical transformation. If either regime suffers a major defeat or internal collapse, the balance of power in the Middle East could shift dramatically. The war could mark the beginning of regime change, or paradoxically strengthen the existing order through nationalist consolidation. Conclusion: a war about power, survival, and regional dominance. This conflict is not merely about territory, nuclear ambitions, religion, or ideology. It's about the future of the Middle East. Who will define the next regional order? Iran sees itself as the axis of resistance. Israel positions itself as a bastion of survival. Both operate with deeply rooted convictions. Both carry the weight of historical trauma. Both have made grave miscalculations. And in between, the people in Tel Aviv and Tehran fall asleep to the sound of air raid sirens and wake up with an uncertain hope. The end of this war is not yet visible, but its beginning has already been etched into the memory of the Middle East.